What would you fix if you had $1 million? I'd tell you what I'd fix, man. Two cars at the same time, man. Lawrence, you don't need $1 million to fix two cars at the same time. Type of cars that stay fixed by a dude like me do. Good point. Welcome to Dirt, Sweat, and Gears, your automotive smorgasbord of sorrows. I gotta be honest with you, I'm kind of tired today. I'm really not feeling it. You see that van over there? You might be able to see that its lights are flashing. That van, the alarm, has been going off all night. So that van's alarm was blasting all night, starting at about 2 in the morning. And it looks to me like it's actually still going. So it actually got to the point where last night I'm laying in bed listening to this car alarm go off. And I start researching. This looks to be, what, a 2005 Odyssey? And so I found a YouTube video where some guy explained how the alarm can randomly go off because one of the sensors gets corroded. And I actually left a piece of paper on that van explaining what to look for and how to disconnect that sensor to stop pissing off all the neighbors. But until then, I guess they get to enjoy a dead battery. We're not fixing the neighbors' cars. I got enough cars of my own to fix. You see here I have Prelude on jack stands, and I've got a Miata with some parts piled up on top. I've actually got even more parts in front of the car. Today, we are going to work on the Miata. Now, in the previous rainstorm, I was actually left with no other choice but to drive this thing. And I gotta tell you, it was pretty much like having a screen door on a submarine. The top itself doesn't leak, but the weather stripping definitely does. The window doesn't go up all the way, but we're not going to address that yet because I really want to just get a hard top with this thing and be done with it. We are going to take care of some other safety concerns that popped up during that time. The first being the trunk is taking on water. So we're going to investigate what is causing that, and we're going to try to seal that up. We've also got some issues with the headlights. For one, they're just not bright enough. It is kind of a safety concern because I can't see far enough in front of me. So I got new headlights, but there's also a problem with the headlight bucket flopping around. We're going to fix that as well. Also got the front passenger side wheel hub that I need to replace. I have one for the driver's side on order, but the passenger side is the one making noise, so we're going to try to go ahead and replace that in this video as well. I really just want to get this car mechanically sorted. And there's one last issue, and that is I've got kind of a gnarly oil leak, and we're going to take a look at that in just a minute. So in our trunk, you see, well, first of all, that battery tray is a little janky. I actually have a new battery tray, a new used battery tray and bracket, so I just have to find some bolts for it and replace all of this garbage here. I also have the J-hook, which I believe is sitting on my workbench. If not, it's in the house somewhere. And I also have to figure out a connection for this thing. So I was looking for just regular old vacuum tube connectors, and I bought a whole box of assorted connectors, and none of them fit. They were all going to different sizes, so I got kind of pissed off and I chucked the whole thing out in the trash. So I may end up having to tee these off into a larger hose, which is, to me, a little bit silly. For now, I just have it running out of a random hole in the trunk. I'm not so sure how correct that is, but for now, that's the best I got. I really need to clip this and to tee it off into that so that I can run them both vented out the back of the car. Also have the antenna that I'm going to finally get around to doing once I get the battery tray swapped out. Also got some leaks in the trunk. For one, I didn't replace the seal on the center brake light, so I'm going to replace that. And also, I noticed with the taillights in general, they just weren't very bright. I did not like how dim the reverse lights are. Kind of had the same problem with the Prelude where you're backing up and you can't see anything. So we're going to try to fix that. But also, obviously in the rain, these taillight lenses take in water. So I've got the new taillight lenses over there. We're going to open up that box and get those swapped out. I already have new gaskets for these, so that'll be hopefully something that'll be nice and smooth. Over underneath the hood, I noticed we were taking on some water under the hood, specifically on the fuse box, which I believe is not a really good thing. So I got a new weather stripping for this thing and also got a cover for this. And because I couldn't find a plastic cover, I got a nice fancy metal cover. So this is going to be our first fix right here. How's this thing go on? 30 amp. Yeah, we're just going to match up. Does this snap on? No? No. No. This. Never mind. I guess. Wow. What's going on with you? Really? This is it's not easy? Are you kidding me? Oh, nothing is easy here. Nothing is easy here. Yeah, this is not working. Okay, well, that's not happening. Let's move on. I can't imagine why that would leak. Looks perfectly fine. The new one's just a little bit thicker than the old one. I can't imagine why this would do any better. Let's put this back in. Okay, that's done. Next. That's the old taillight. That's the new taillight lens. This is going to make the car a whole lot less sad looking. I mean, yeah, I still got this centerpiece, but yeah, that actually, replacing that centerpiece is a lot more expensive than you might think. A lot more expensive than these taillights. I got these on eBay. They're in pretty good condition, definitely off of another probably junk car. I am really looking forward to getting these installed. You see, in the assembly itself, I've already replaced the lights with LEDs, except for the turn signals. I haven't done that yet. I am just not sure what I want to do with the turn signals. I may put the reverse lights in the turn signals and get new reverse lights, because I don't feel like the reverse lights are as bright as the ones I put in the Prelude. I'm probably going to get another set identical to what I ordered for the Prelude and to put them in the reverse lights for the Miata, because I was really happy with the result there. Oh, that already looks so much better. The trunk lid's still open because we've still got some work to do back there, but oh man, this was worth it. It just feels so much less crappy that you start to begin to notice the paint is the wrong color and it's mismatched between panels and the centerpiece is smashed. And well, you just get depressed all over again. But man, that just looks so much better than this. So we're going to throw these in the trash. And, well, maybe I can sell them to some racer. Maybe they're track day taillights or something. I don't know. I got the antenna installed. That wasn't so bad. Getting the old one out was a little bit harder, but once I got a grip on the little round thing, I was able to pop it off. I am not going to hook up the power boost for the antenna just yet. I'm going to do that at a later date. I'm going to focus on the battery right now. So I've got the tray in, I've got the bracket in, and then this bracket. And so now really all I need to find is the J-hook contraption. I know I have it, so I'm not terribly worried about being able to finish this project. I gotta say, I really don't like this. I mean, I know it's more or less stock, except for this stupid arm here. But yeah, it's just not doing it for me. So first of all, these larger terminal connectors are just really hard to connect against this bump on the battery. So I had to come in at a really awkward angle, and uh, I made some sparks. Not something I'm proud of. And oh look, I broke the brand new tray that I just got because getting the battery in and out, flopping it around a bunch of times, I guess broke it. So that's cool. Um, and there's a bunch of space behind it. So I may have to cut a little block of wood to shove back there to hold it in place. Like I said, I really don't like this. And if anybody knows a better solution to use the original battery like this in a better configuration, better enclosure, let me know, because I've been looking for battery boxes and just not finding anything. I did find the Odyssey battery, but I already bought this. I'm not gonna throw out a perfectly good $200 battery. So I'm gonna use this, and I'm gonna figure out how to make this work. But until then, I'm good enough with this. I still do have to run to the auto parts store and figure out a solution for that. Let's see how this all looks with the trunk closed and trunk closed. Trunk, hello? Okay. Yeah, this is better. Get the little shorty antenna there. It's definitely not going to catch on the netting anymore. Let's try to get these new lights in. So I have a little problem with bit of a floppy headlight here. So I'm hoping all I have to do is adjust the stop that's inside of it. Let's get these out and see what we're working with. It's probably going to be the worst thing I've ever seen, isn't it? I'm like some kind of fortune teller, I swear. See that right there? That's why this light's flopping around. I don't know how to fix that. That's going to take a little bit of research. And of course there was no boot on this or anything. I mean, God, why would there be? Let's stop dwelling on the past and fix this stupid thing. I'm going to go ahead and put the old seal beam back in because I do not want to break my expensive new lights. So I am going to try to fix that flopping before I put the new lights in. I was able to find new headlight arms on eBay, and I went ahead and ordered them. So when they arrive, I'm going to go ahead and change out the arms on both of these buckets. And once I do that, I'll be able to put the new headlights in. So over the past few weeks, I've been checking up on this car, oil levels, coolant levels, and just figuring out any kind of weaknesses or leaks or anything like that. And I did finally resolve the coolant leaks, which is pretty great. I'm really proud about that. But I am having an oil leak, and it's pretty gnarly. Let's go take a look down underneath the car. And you see there's a couple of spots, and farther back, you see that basically everything is coated in oil. That is the one oil seal that I have not replaced on this car. That is the oil pan gasket. That also explains the mess that we saw when my mechanic pulled the transmission. That weird cake of RTV across the entire engine. That had to have been done as a ghetto fix for leaking oil pan gasket. The very unfortunate thing with the oil pan gasket is that there is no easy way to do it. There is no real solution. You can either pull the entire engine or you can take the entire subframe off. Both of them are pretty much 6 of one, half a dozen of the other in terms of quantifying ass pain. So to me, I think pulling out the entire engine will be a little bit better in this case because, for one, I don't have to get a new alignment all over again, and two, I won't have to work on the floor. I really don't want to work on the floor. I really don't want to be underneath the engine. The other thing about doing an oil pan gasket on the ground with the subframe out is that you're still dealing with gravity. You're still fighting gravity in order to get this thing cleaned up and put back together. So I think just because I dislike gravity so much that I'm going to have to pull the engine on this to fix that. But I am definitely not doing that in this video. I need to fix the Prelude. I need to fix the Jeep. And that it's also not leaking fast enough for me to be terribly concerned with it. I just need to top it off every, I don't know, about once a week, I think. So we're not going to fix that. So as you can see, I am working on the Jeep for another video. And while we wait for these headlight retractor arms, we're going to go ahead and install this wheel hub. Now, this is supposed to be fairly straightforward. Again, I know I'm cursing myself. Just like with the headlight arm, it's going to be the worst thing I've ever done. You know, I don't know why I do this to myself. I say, oh, this will be easy, and then it ends up being the worst thing in the world. So, yeah, we have to pop off the brake caliper, take off the rotor, take off that little cap, and hopefully not too many more things. I can hang the brake caliper off to the side with some baling wire so that I don't screw up the caliper itself. So over here we have the old hub. The hardest part about this was actually removing the dust cap. So I had to kind of get a little violent with it, but that's no big deal. We're throwing out this entire hub anyway. So this is the old hub. This one was the one making noise. And you can see it looks like it is damaged in the back here. That could have been what caused the bearing to go bad. But, oh, it also could have been, you know, age. This is shifting around, and I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to shift around. So the new one doesn't shift around. I did notice with the new one, this is from Treasure Coast Miata. The video I looked for inspiration on how to do this was from Flying Miata. They use different hubs. Their upgraded hubs are built differently. This one, I bought this because it was pre-packed. I didn't want to deal with packing it myself. This is really just a rebuilt OEM hub, whereas the Flying Miata ones, you can actually change out the bearings much easier. And there's this cool little cover, and it's probably a lot more expensive. This was not cheap either, but I think this is an acceptable replacement. Now, the thing I did notice was that my dust shield was dented. It came like this from Treasure Coast. I'll email them about this to see if I can get a credit on my next order or something. But yeah, I can't use this. I'm going to have to go get a new dust shield. Pretty sure I can get one at the local parts store so that I won't be screwed out of a car waiting on this for a week and a half. So we need to clean this up before we can put it in, but before we do that, we need to clean up the spindle. So I started cleaning it, and you really do need to get this spotless. And for all of you looking for how-to content, this is actually not difficult at all. You just take a Brillo pad, and I'm sure you're all very familiar with this method of cleaning here. And you keep doing that enough, and it will get clean. You might want to give it a little bit of a twist, or, you know, again, very easy to do. This is something I'm sure you all know how to do already. So for those of you looking for how-to content, that's how you clean a spindle. If you think I'm almost done, you obviously don't know what channel you're watching, because I'm going to take this all apart and do a bunch more work. So here's the reason why. So I got the extra length ARP studs on this hub because I thought, well, this would be better for performance applications later on. But first thing I noticed was they are They are quite long. Like my lug nuts actually, when they're fully on the car, bottom out before they reach the wheel. So I will first have to get all new lug nuts, which is going to cost me money. And then I'm going to have long studs on only one wheel. Eventually, if I wait until February, I could get really long studs on the other front wheel. But then I realized those are brand new hubs back there because they're brand new knuckles, and I am not going to revisit that. So it's going to look really stupid to have really long studs just on the front of the car and standard length on the back. So we're going to take this off. We're going to pop out these ARP studs and swap them with my old studs. This job is actually pretty easy. So I was able to pull this hub, pull out the brake, pull the hub out within just a few minutes. The only limiting factor in the future would be the dust cover. And with my 20-ton press, this is actually just a matter of minutes to have all 4 studs swapped out. As you can see on the new one, I've got the ARP studs already popped out, and I've got 1, 2 of the original studs put back in. So that alone is enough to justify using the existing studs. The second bit of information being, it is Christmas Day, and it's not common for places to be open on Christmas Day, and indeed, the auto shops are closed. So if I want to have this anywhere near done today, which I do, I'm going to use the old studs. So once I get this back together, again, we're going to be back to the original studs on new hubs with new bearings, and I will still be missing a non-dented dust cover, but that is a matter of seconds to replace once I get one that is not dented. I could probably try to push this out and reuse it, but I would rather just get a new dust cover. I can't imagine it costing very much, and it's going to be very fast. So I took the center cap out of the wheel so that all I have to do is put the dust cover. Let's make sure it fits through it. Yes, it does. So all I have to do is put the dust cover through it, tap it in, and put on the new center cap. Worst case scenario, I would take the wheel off and put it on like that, which that already isn't a big deal. So let's keep moving along. Well, the auto parts store did not have the dust cover, but this will do the job for now until a new one arrives from eBay. Since I've taken the car on the block, I'd like to take a look into this problem. So if you can hear it, it kind of stutters every so often at idle. And I don't know if that's a timing problem or not. The last time I set the timing, I believe the car was not warmed up enough. But it definitely is warmed up enough right now. So we're going to check the timing. We're also going to check under the hood for anything egregiously out of place, which it doesn't seem to be. So I'm thinking it could be timing. And there you have it. The timing's advanced too far by about 3 degrees. Let's get this dialed back. The problem with this is I have to remove the coil pack while the car is running in order to get to the bolt to the cam angle sensor. It's really lame, but that's what happens when you do the NA8 conversion on this thing. It sucks. I was able to dial the timing back to 10 degrees, and the car seemed to be a little more stable. That could also explain my lousy gas mileage. When I first put this car together, I was getting 28, almost 30 miles per gallon on this car. And since I have done the work to replace the cam seals, I've been getting more like 23. So This could have explained that problem. I'm going to let the car cool off a little bit. The bolts that hold the coil packs on are not pleasant to remove when hot. So I'm just going to wait for that to cool off for a few minutes. I also wanted to, yeah, I wanted to disconnect that as fast as possible because, yeah, safety first here on Dirt, Sweat, and Gears. So while this cools down, I am going to investigate a little bit of a throttle sticking issue. So one of the things that I noticed the hard way and almost very dangerously was if you smash the throttle all the way open, the throttle actually sticks for a brief second. And so I tried to spray some lubricant on this side, and in fact, it is not sticking at all on this side. So it could be either on the pedal side, or I might have to replace the entire cable itself, because if the cable is bad, that would cause that problem as well. Hopefully I don't have to replace the entire cable. Hopefully it's just something I can adjust inside the cabin. Let's go do some Miata yoga. There's a few things going on here. First of all, I don't know if you can hear that, but that makes a lot of noise. Second, it's getting caught on the side of the carpet here. So there's actually two issues at play here. I should be able to get this carpet out of the way. If not, I'm just going to remove it because this is a major safety concern. Look at that. Look at that. You pretty much have to have your foot pressing against it in order to keep it from binding. So that's really bad. But that noise is pretty terrible, and I think, yeah, that's the cable. And all the way down. Sometimes it springs back up. Other times it stops for a second. So this is a problem. I'm probably going to have to get a new cable. I'm definitely going to clean up that hinge there, that spring assembly, and I got to do something about this carpet. This is dangerous. Okay, now we've adjusted the timing. Let's take it out for a test drive. One of the things I noticed while I was adjusting the timing was that my idle was really low. And I'm pretty sure that's because when I was first diagnosing the no start code 1 problem a few weeks back, I noticed a vacuum leak. It turned out that I had previously just tuned out the leak out of my timing before. So now with that vacuum leak gone, my idle was too low, so I had to bring it back up a little bit. I brought it as high as it would let me go, and then adjusted the timing, and I just kind of went back and forth, getting it a little bit closer every time until I got it where I think it's going to be okay. And right off the bat, the engine does feel smoother. Acceleration is nice and linear. I'm not going fast. I mean, you can't really go fast in a Miata anyway, but I'm not going fast because I'm in a residential neighborhood. So I'm just really getting a feel for first gear, and then just its transition into second. Does it feel comfortable? And really, when we're commuting, it's mostly first and second gear anyway, so this is actually not a bad test case for real world conditions. So the throttle cable, we're going to do it in another video, but it was really good to diagnose that. That is certainly a problem, and we're going to get ahead of that problem before it leaves somebody stranded on the freeway again. And then I also ordered a throttle adapter plate, because what we have right now is does not look correct. In fact, there's a broken stud in my intake manifold. So when we go to put that new adapter plate on, and the adapter plate is so that you can use a 90 to 93 cable on on a 94 to 96 engine. So, which is what I have. I have a 94 or 95 engine. So we'll be able to do that the right way, and then I'll retap that hole so that it bolts in correctly too. Didn't get the dust cap either, but I've ordered that, and that'll be just a few seconds to fix. And like I already showed you, with the wheel cap, that will at least hold it good enough until I get a new dust cap. The last thing is actually something we set out to endeavor in this video but did not complete, and that is the headlights. I wanted to put the new headlights in, but it turns out one of the arms, the retractor arms, was not right. Something was broken about it, and that's actually what's causing it to flop around, not the stop that goes behind it, but the arm itself. So I ordered a new pair of arms. They were fairly cheap, so we're gonna go ahead and do that hopefully very soon, as soon as it arrives, and you'll be seeing that in an upcoming video, probably along with the throttle cable. I'm probably gonna tackle both issues at once. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I'm really happy that I was able to get so much done over the Christmas holiday. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like what you see, like, share, subscribe, comment. And if you don't like what you see, leave a comment anyway, because maybe the weather just isn't as good where you live and you're in a bad mood. Either way, I want to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next video.